We often view financial crashes as freak accidents, lightning bolts striking out of a clear blue sky. We tend to blame sudden political shifts, unexpected disasters, or rogue algorithms for the chaos. In 1929, the Great Crash appeared to be a sudden, unexplainable market heart attack that wiped out global fortunes in a matter of days. Fast forward 80 years to the 2008 financial crisis. Despite the jump in time and technology, the same underlying patterns of behavior drove the market to the brink of collapse. To understand these cycles, we have to look past the moment of panic and investigate the years of maximum prosperity that come right before the fall. Economist Hyman Minsky challenged the traditional idea that capitalism naturally settles into a stable, self-correcting balance. He viewed the economy as a massive, interconnected web of balance sheets. In this system, every person's debt is another person's asset, making the entire structure highly sensitive to shifts in confidence. Minsky's central discovery was that stability itself causes instability. When the economy stays calm for a long stretch, borrowers and lenders feel so secure that they begin taking on increasingly dangerous levels of risk. Risk reaches its peak when debt silently piles up across these balance sheets, often at the exact moment everyone believes the economy is invincible. Minsky identified 3 debt cycle phases: hedge, speculative, and Ponzi. In hedge finance, cautious borrowers take on affordable debt. Their income reliably covers interest and principal. As the boom continues, we enter speculative finance. Borrowers acquire more assets, but income now only covers interest payments. Borrowers must constantly roll over debt, taking new loans to pay old ones. The system depends entirely on perpetual growth. Eventually, greed pushes us into Ponzi finance. Borrowers take on massive leverage. Their income can no longer cover even the interest payments. The borrower's survival now depends entirely on asset prices rising forever, allowing them to refinance or sell the asset before the bills come due. Over a long period of growth, a solid foundation of safe investments slowly transforms into a fragile house of cards. The event that finally topples this structure is the margin call. Lenders require highly leveraged investors to keep a specific amount of cash collateral. If asset prices dip even slightly, that collateral is no longer sufficient. Lenders then issue a margin call, forcing the investor to either deposit more cash immediately or sell their assets into a falling market. This chart of the Dow Jones in late 1929 shows the result of an entire market leveraged to the brink. When prices began to slip, the sharp vertical drops were driven by investors who were being forced to sell by their lenders. For anyone in the Ponzi stage, a margin call turns a minor market correction into a mandatory, inescapable fire sale. When a market full of Ponzi borrowers hits a wave of margin calls, the mechanics of the system take over. As the first reckless investors are forced to sell, they flood the market, pushing prices down further. Because balance sheets are interconnected, this drop triggers margin calls for previously safe borrowers, forcing them to sell and accelerating the collapse. This self-sustaining loop of forced liquidation is the Minsky moment, the point where asset values collapse and generate a full-scale systemic crisis. This outcome is the result of a system that allowed its interconnected balance sheets to become weighed down by excessive leverage. Financial crashes are a recurring feature of a credit-based economy, appearing whenever debt levels become unmanageable. By monitoring debt ratios and total market leverage, we can observe the late stages of Minsky's cycle developing before the first margin call. When a market appears universally safe and unbreakable, the internal leverage has usually already made the next collapse a certainty.